Welcome to the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Get ready for episode number 54 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast as we welcome longtime veteran ring technician and SICW Ambassador Sean Vincent. We thank all of you joining us for tonight's episode of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Before we get underway, we pay honor, tribute, and respect to the greatest nation in the world as we play our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for that ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the
Hey, good evening, everybody. It is episode number 54 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast here coming at you here live this week, this Thursday night. Unlike we might have fooled a few of you here last week where we had other things to do and we just gave you a live, we gave you a broadcast, but we put it on live for you all to watch. So, but we're here live this week and we've got plenty of things upcoming here for you, including our featured guest, Sean Vincent, will probably be here hopefully in about 10 minutes or so. I haven't heard from him yet, but hopefully he will be in here. So, but yeah, I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby. To the right of your screen is the other co-host, and that is the Gem City Mouth, Z-Miz. What's up, Z?
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
Oh, my goodness. I've had a very busy last week or so. I thought that last week was, stemming back to last Thursday, which we'll get a chance to talk about that. But that was probably one of the highlights so far. And
yes, I have to hear about this.
Yeah, you definitely will. And And if you, I've changed my decor a little bit. It almost looks like wallpaper with what I've added here in my studio, but it's actually not wallpaper. But yeah, yeah, but a lot of things happening, and we're gonna go over that here with our audience, and of course also with our soon to be coming up featured guest. So, yeah, but hey, tonight we are live, and for those who would like to chime in, if you have a question for either one of us, want to talk to either one of us, definitely do give us a call. 314-764-5540 is our listener line, which is back up and running, by the way.
Nice.
So yeah, it took a while to kind of figure that out, and reason why is because there was some feedback going through. I've had to replace some wires, and a lot of people don't know this, but sometimes the wires, it depends on the quality you get. You're gonna find one into a bad bunch, and it'll cause like some type of like squelch or feedback over like a monitor speaker or something like that, and well, that's just the industry,
I grew up in the music industry. I know all about that stuff.
Yeah, I touched the device where the phone's where the number's hooked up to, and it the screen lights up and you hear all this squelching. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And of all things, a charging cable.
Ooh, that will get you.
Third-party charging cables are never good. Boy, you can go on forever about those, about the either the horror stories that you would get from them, but some good and some not so good. And that's what I'm saying. Don't buy any audio accessories from Wish if you're trying to do a professional production. So, I'm just saying I did not do that, but
I don't have it with me.
You what?
Did you see my my joke on We Talk Wrestling about the Wish Buddy Murphy and then the Amazon Prime Buddy Murphy?
Oh no, I gotta check that out.
God dang it, what's his name? He's a good, talented guy in NXT 2.0. Dang it, I can't remember his name now, but he looks just like Buddy Murphy, just a Wish version of him.
Oh, come on. No, that dude is spectacular. He started out in the Indies as Blake Christian. He got a major exposure in USA Championship Wrestling, and he got called up, and now he's Trey Baxter.
Yes, Trey Baxter. Great talent. Like I'm not trying to knock the man by any means. But
no.
It's the first thing that came to my mind, and really to comparing to Buddy Murphy, that's in my opinion respectable, because Buddy Murphy is one of easily my favorite wrestlers currently on the big scene going. So.
Yeah, and in fact, I think even this guy here is taking a step above Buddy. And when I was still booking over in Evansville, I had a chance to get this guy, but our dates kept running into each other because he was pulled in from everywhere. And the other partner did not want to pay him a little bit extra to kind of try to sweeten the pot a little bit. So it's like I never got him to come down.
Dang, that would have been nice. He is a excellent talent, and I can't wait to watch him a little more. I'm really liking 2.0 a little bit more than I thought I would.
Yeah, but I will say though, I've got Amari Miller underneath my belt as I've booked before, so I at least I can say I've booked, because I know talent when I see it, and I know where they're going and when they're serious about it. And hey, when I see talent, I know it. And
oh look, and then I'm right here.
Yeah, voila, here you are. You don't tell behind the mic.
I try.
Yeah, I know. We can banter with the best of them. So this past weekend, at least around the St. Louis metro area, we have for IEW, we have new tag team champions. The Midwest Mercenaries were dethroned in a triple threat match. They were not pinned, but the new champions are the Irish Devil, Douglas O'Shea, and Playboy Double H.
It saddens me. For one, I didn't get to make it. Fundage kind of hit the pocketbook to where I could not get down there. Yeah. But my friends lost to my friends. So
Yeah. And by the way, on an early on a show that airs before this tonight, your friends had a lot of things to say about me that were not very pleasant. And
Really, I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah,
They're not always the nicest to everybody, and I feel bad sometimes. But then other
yeah,
times, I just gotta take it with grains of salt because I'm a loving guy, so I try to respect everybody. So I can't
yeah,
control what Doug and Playboy say, but
yeah. So I was the lone wolf. And here come the barking hyenas that would not shut up for anything. I swear, those two, you can never breathe. It's like they take a breath in, and then when they release out, they're talking. They don't. They don't just take a breath. They're just talking about something.
it's
And
kind of like Jack Black's inward singing.
oh my, right. Oh, oh, let's see. Yeah, I know. Well, you know, is that does that make Tenacious D good or not so good?
I mean, it's up to the audience.
Right, up to the audience. But yeah, but no, we had our little banter back and forth, and of course, talking about a match that will never happen because of things around the area. But it's what it is. What it is. Now, also this past Saturday, I was at the Swansea Firehouse for SICW doing a fundraiser, taking on the Big Texan.
Yes, you
And
and Big Texas.
yeah, Big Texan boy.
He body slammed you.
Yeah. Oh no. What they didn't get a shot is him finishing me off with the lariat. And
Ooh,
oh yeah, saying ooh is an understatement. I mean,
how's the chest area?
well, the chest area is okay, and yeah, let's just say that. Yeah, that was definitely the hardest shot of the night.
Well, your head's still on, so that's a plus.
Yeah, trust me, the head got shook, and I went down like a ton of bricks. But yeah, oh, but in my defense, I was trying to splash him, and I was staggered, and I turned around, and bam, there it is.
Oh,
I'll tell you,
he's a mean dude.
I know he's trying to get up the Bradshaw in his prime, man, and he's getting awfully dangerously up there. So, yeah. So I'm not going to mess with that any further. Uh, yeah, but so that was pretty much over the weekend, and we're going to talk about our shows coming up here. But what, in fact, let's go ahead and do the show. Oh, if I can actually get this thing to work. Because I got a little bit of updated artwork and also updated shows too.
Yes.
So at least shows that we need to talk about because I haven't included them recently, and I don't want this company thinking because I used to work for them and I no longer share their shows that I get. I don't want to get no heat. So that's one thing I do not want to do is gather heat from somebody. Well, real heat anyway. So here we go. So this coming Saturday night is SICW. Now, here's one thing that was revealed at the Swansea Firehouse. The SICW Classic Champion was the War Machine, but the new breed, Jason Breed, that actually came out during the War Machine's match against Gary Jackson. And just went and pulled that mask off of the War Machine, which now reveals to be now Attila Khan. So Attila Khan is now the War Machine is no longer, and it's always been so. Apparently, it's been Attila Khan the entire time. And now this match is for the SICW Classic Championship. Now,
wow.
So we got Gil Rogers challenging Attila Khan with Travis Cook in his corner. Our doors open at 6, bells at 7. And of course, if you attend Saturday night, you're going to get that gives you free admission into the TV taping the following Sunday, where doors will open at noon and bell time at 1 p.m. to start all the taping of the SICW All-Star Wrestling shows. And I will be there for this weekend. So going to be some good stuff. So come on out and check it out. So Friday, October 22nd, this is Dynamo Pro. So a lot of these guys in here, I never really worked for Dynamo Pro, but a lot of the guys I have. And so we got a lot of MMWA talent making their debut here but Grave Consequences down at the Arnold Eagles Club. And if it's the same club I'm thinking of here, let's hope that that the audience does not get too drunk to want to come toward the ring and start nothing, because this is the only venue that I've known to have had 3 in-ring brawls start from the audience in a span of like 4 months, like
Wow.
4 shows. And so after the third one, like, yep, 3 strikes, we're out. We're not going to go there anymore. So good luck to these guys, and hopefully no drunk starts anything in the ring. But bell time's at 7:30 p.m. Doors open an hour before. You can go and ticket in advance. You can go to arnoldwrestling.ticketleap.com/dynamo. And so that'll be a good, that should be a good outing there for that. And here we go with Saturday, October 23rd for WPW World Powerhouse Wrestling for Combat Games. All tickets are $5. You can visit www.ticketleap.com to get your seats down at Jerseyville, Illinois at the Susnick Center. And if not, I'm sure you would be able to get in at the door. And here we go. We talk about this. We've talked a lot about this. The biggest show of the year anywhere when it comes to Legends, where the featured bout, one of the featured bouts here is King Haku versus Attila Khan, the SICW Classic Champion. Will the title be on the line? We don't know. But that's Saturday, October 30th. Bell time's at 7. Festivities start at 4 p.m. with a trunk or treat for the kids and also a costume contest. And we've got updated artwork now. There's been some changes to this. We got Sergeant Slaughter for fun. We got the Rock and also across the pipeline, 2 new matches have been assigned, which involve the Rock and Roll Express. They actually will be in action against Sean Sentel and Mahler McDarby, the Professionals. And that's going to be one sound classic tag team match. You don't want to miss. Demolition will be there. Great. The Hammer Valentine, of course, who went over King Haku. Dr. D, David Schultz. I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., of course, head of the Ace Wrestling Academy. The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and the last guy there at the top, who will also be in action. Jerry the King Lawler will meet the 444-pound monster in Kowalski with Curtis Wilde in Kowalski's corner. So that is, you want to go to SICW.org to get information on those tickets and get those tickets purchased. And so that's going to be a spectacular card there.
That card is just stacked. That day is just stacked.
Yeah. So I will say, though, that there has been a change. Now, I will want to say we do send our prayers and thoughts to Brian Knobs, who still continues to battle with his health. Apparently, Jerry Sachs did not want to just go on his own. They wanted to come as a pair as the Nasty Boys. So since Brian's health cannot be guaranteed, they decided to back out from this booking respectfully due to his health. And maybe down the road they'll show up, but definitely pray for Brian Knobs to make sure that his health is intact.
I mean, it makes perfect sense, and then we do send love to Brian Knobs, and hopefully he gets better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
one of my favorite matches of theirs was the Nasty Boys versus Public Enemy at I think it was Hog Wild.
Yeah, I think so too. Or it was Bash at the Beach. Was it the dog collar match?
No, it was the hardcore. No, it was the dog collar match. Yes, that's Bash. Yeah,
I think that was Bash at the Beach.
That's Bash at the Beach.
I think it was the same pay-per-view on the infamous heel turn of Hulk Hogan.
Yes, that's one of my favorite matches of the Nasty Boys. I just had to throw that out there since we're paying homage to Brian Knobs.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, what was it? Well, I'll tell you what, you need to kind of go back. I'm trying to think what team it was. It was Cactus Jack and somebody else. But it was back in '94 where Nasty Boys were wrestling, and I forgot the name of the Philadelphia Flyers player that served as a special enforcer. and actually just came down and waffled Jerry Sags in the back of the crown of the head with a guitar, and he legitimately was laid out, did not move. So, my God, I mean, those bumps like that are pretty are pretty tough. Let me tell you, if you get cracked in the crown of your head, I mean, God bless you that you wake up with not a severe concussion, but you know something's going to happen if you get hit that serious. Trust me, I've been victim to that a few times, um, and last time over 3 years ago. So yeah,
I've had my fair share of concussions.
right. Let's not mention in the 30th with Herb Simmons there, the 2-ring battle royal, which I will be a part of. The 2-ring battle royal, and the winner of that 2-ring battle royal will be declared the new SICW Central States champion. So there will be a new championship into the fold come October 30th for SICW. And I'm definitely going to go out there and over the top battle royal, which is kind of interesting because in any type of regular match and contest, if you get thrown over the top, then your opponent's disqualified and you win.
You're out. Yeah.
But now, if you're eliminated, if you get thrown over the top rope, so kind of a different psychology there. With that, going back to the old days.
I love battle royales. One of my favorites.
In 2 rings, man. I don't think I've ever been involved in a 2-ring event ever, especially when it comes to a battle royal. I've been involved in steel cage matches, yeah. So, but this is going to be something different. In fact, this is going to be the first time a 2-ring battle royal in the St. Louis area has been done since Larry Matysek put one on, I believe, back in, I think it was 83 or 84. So yeah, just yeah. I mean, it's going to be something spectacular. I'm just looking forward to getting to the legends. I mean, some guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one guy, like I said, the guy that just stands out is Dr. D. David Schultz. You never really see David Schultz really at any other like signings or anything else like that, and that's going to be kind of cool to see him there. And of course, all the other legends there. You know, Jimmy Hart. I've seen. You know, it's been years since I've seen him, but it's going to be good to see him again. And so it's going to be a good time. So, and I actually sent a message out to Sean Vincent. So hopefully he's going to be on here. And yeah, but you know, Sean does work in an industry though that something could happen, and he could stay, or something may come up and he needs filling for somebody. So. I haven't seen anything.
What's the industry that it works in? May I ask?
Well, it's a medical profession.
That's what I figured.
It's well known on if you go to his page, he is a registered nurse. So
right on.
Yeah, so he
even more respect for the man now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The man, he's careful for. He definitely watches out for health issues. That's for certain, and. You know, definitely give them respect for that. You know, especially all these doctors and staffing is definitely underrated and underappreciated.
That's
in this industry, especially with everything going on now. You know, so yeah, so hopefully he'll get in here. But
my wife is actually, not to boast, my wife's just been accepted to school to become a nurse. So.
Yes.
It's even more exciting to hear other people out there still doing it and rocking it, you know.
And it's how you take it though, but that's definitely job security.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely job security. I mean, for me though, I mean, I scream at a couple things. You know, if I see, I mean, like before, there's some like ring injuries I've seen before, like. Oh my goodness! If I go like 20 years back in Mexico, Missouri, by a young fellow by the name of Christian Hayes, and he was in a ladder match. He took a fall where he took a wrong. He landed wrong on his feet, and he was laying on the ground, and where his right foot was upright where it needed to be, but his left leg was straight, but his foot was off to the side. So
And see, all I go to is right to Sid Vicious jumping out the
middle
rope.
I know. That was the same year too, and I'm like, could people just stop making freak accidents in the ring? They're going to be scaring me from wanting to compete.
I remember watching it as a kid and legitimately throwing up in the living room when it happened.
Oh my God, no! I saw that and I'm like, oh no! I ran. I'm like, no. And then him trying to lift his leg and then it dangles.
It was bad.
Oh, it was bad. That's like, or even like if someone gets cut open or shot or whatever. I mean, gosh, just if it's hard, if it's bled hard way by some type of violent, incident or accident, that I can't handle it. I'm sorry, but much love to those in the health field who take up all of that, and definitely kudos to your wife for wanting to get into that. That's definitely some awesome stuff. Now, segueing into some awesome stuff. I've been really busy because I've actually had a couple of people that put a bug in my ear, like, hey, we know you're doing the podcast. It's awesome. But my problem is this. Sometimes people cannot watch the live feed. And even with that, if you're going to watch it on the replay, you have to be in the actual app or have your screen open to actually hear it or keep watching it. Because if not, you got to have your phone or whatever, or even on a computer, you have to have it, active. Well, here's what we have done. As of yesterday, and we're going to have hopefully a few more outlets that are going to approve and let us know. But we are officially on a audio podcast format now as well. So we are not only just doing a podcast, where you can see us live, which is great stuff. I mean, if you can see us live, that's awesome. We'd like to interact. We pull up all the, these awesome comments and everything else. I don't know who's Dave. I'm just joking, Corey. I'm just joking. Michael Lilly and Andy again. So
you gotta love Andy.
Yeah, we'll use the fire again. Okay. So yeah. So and of course, Herb. I interact with everybody. And also, if you're calling in, hey, if you call in and you ask us a question, you may be on that podcast, but we have actually stopped. But you want to look for Falls Count Everywhere or Falls Count Everywhere podcast on your favorite platforms. So far, we have Spotify. So far, we have Podbean. So far, we have iHeart. And as of tomorrow, we will go live with TuneIn. Now, we also have, and we're going to be eventually on Apple Podcast and Google Podcast, and hopefully also Pandora. So you're looking at 7 different podcast outlets. Oh, I'm sorry, Audible, which is also Amazon owned. So we're going to look at possibly getting onto 8 different podcast platforms, so you cannot miss this one way or the other. You don't have to watch on a screen. You can just play the podcast on your phone, put it in your headphones, and just be about your day and just listen to.
Good job, Rough Cut.
Yeah. So we're doing that. We've got our 5. I'm going to start with our oldest episode, which is up there with Joker as our first guest. And I've gotten up to episode 6 so far, where we have Attila Khan. Now, let me tell you, that Attila Khan episode, like a lot of these episodes are very entertaining. If you want to hear some good stories about some good guys in this business, Attila Khan is definitely one you want to listen to. So that's up there as well. So remember, and I think I even gave you a preview of the page, at least from the Podbean site, where I
think so. Yeah, I think I remember you sending me something.
Yep. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. So like every episode that we've had so far, as far as a featured guest, they will be on here. So that includes the Searcher and Miss Hyde. That includes the Butcher, Damian Blade. That includes the 2 times that Bill Alfonso has been on here. So that will be on, which he was on episode number 8 and also episode number 43. So So he'll be on. Now here's what I like to do. Now, obviously, you've seen, I was down at the Missouri Athletic Club last Thursday. I'll talk about that here in a second. And then also back at Swansea. Now, if you can notice, if you pander to, well, I'm just going to do this here real quick so I can do that. So if you can see me a little bit here, you can see my my settings have, or my background has changed here. So yes, I actually have more than one Wrestling at the Chase book. So, and I think I see our featured guest coming here in just a short bit. So we're going to get to him in just a moment. But here's what I like to do, guys. It's probably going to take about a couple months, but you see this whole Wrestling at the Chase book, okay? This is the real deal. I've told you about it, how I needed to get it. Well, I got my hands on a couple of them, but this is one is to me. So I got to meet Ed as well, and just have a short little conversation with him, and just some great stuff. So just Steven with, hopefully you can see this. If my headphones don't stick up here. With Wrestling at the Chase. Oh no, I can't even do anything straight. Look at me. Straight. So yeah, look at that. You even signed it for me, and good stuff. So yeah, Ed will be having some more appearances. Now, here's what I like to do. Now one of these books is an extra, and I would like to give it away to a loyal listener. But here's the thing. I'll announce later on how we're going to do it. But my goal is I would like to get more YouTube likes. My goodness, I would like to get at least 100 subscribers for YouTube. So spread the word. I know you've been doing it. I'll be doing it here as well. But we want at least like 100 YouTube subscribers. And maybe I'll be able to give this book away. Now, as soon as we can get to 100, I think we got like 15 so far?
I think so.
We got about 350 that are in here. So, all right. Yep. And I know Sean's getting ready here. So we're going to get that. But I'll announce probably next week on how you can be able to do that and how you can submit your entry to win this book. And we'll probably do a drawing probably, I don't know, around the holidays to give away this book. So there you go. You want to get a chance to get the book? There you go. So, all right. So I think that's all I've got. My goodness. It's amazing what I think I've got, and then we end up going a little longer, but that's all. Yeah. I had to go and, I just want to make sure I've got my notes here, and I think we are ready to go. So tonight's featured guest has had over 20 years experience in the professional wrestling business. Through different stages of his career, he's adapted several monikers, but the result of his hard work inside the ropes has gotten him to many championships and different promotions throughout the Midwest region. Tonight, we reflect on his accomplishments inside and outside the ring and what quest he has lined up to conquer next. So, Falls County War Nation, put your hands together for your Canadian hero, Sean Vincent. All right, I want to switch this over my way. There you go. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Sorry for being tardy to the party. Right now, I'm out here in Hillsboro, Missouri, and we got a heck of a storm blowing in. I lost power, and I was thinking, okay, my cell phone is dead. I can't call Ruby, and I'm like, I'm never, ever late for anything podcast. I finally, power came back on. I charged my phone, and I get a text message from Herb Simmons. He goes, "Aren't you supposed to be doing something?" And I'm yes, sir, I am. So to the fans that are watching this podcast right now, I sincerely apologize for being late. Mother Nature outside is a cruel woman, and she held me up. So thank you for having me on this evening.
Yeah, man. No, thank you very much for making it, man, because I was assuming maybe possibly the shoot job could have possibly gotten in the way, but I totally forgot. My wife was saying something that it was there was a bad storm outside and it was pouring. And I was like, oh, okay, I was kind of wondering why my dogs didn't stay out so long.
Yeah, I'm not rural Missouri, and it just a light breeze will kill your power. So
Yeah.
luckily it turned back on. We're a go. So thank you.
Oh man, no, thank you for making it, man. But yeah, we haven't got a chance to talk about it. I mentioned it, and before we get into before we have for you for the interview here tonight, we mentioned lightly about last week down at the Missouri Athletic Club,
Okay.
and
So jealous.
man, so kind of take us on your takeaways of that, you being there and what you've experienced last week.
Nothing I've ever experienced out of the 23 years I've been in this business, and that's saying a lot. Working for as many great promoters I've worked for, the atmosphere was un. It was very comparable to the old days of wrestling at the Chase. The fans there were dressed to the nine, like they were in tuxedos, evening gowns. The atmosphere was very high class, and that did not take away from the enthusiasm of the fans. They were very loud and boisterous, and you yourself had the honor of being the first match on that card. And I'm in the gorilla position watching your match, and I'm just hearing the fans come alive and they're just so into it. And I'm thinking, wow, does it get any better than this? Again, unless you were there in the audience or in the locker room, it's really hard to describe just how amazing the feeling was being there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got to be with you there. I mean, this has got to be one of the most memorable moments in my entire career, over 20 in my 25th year. And when the thing that got me was like you said, the ballroom setting, everybody's is either in dresses, gowns, or suits, 500 people there. And the thing that got me was the spotlights just over the ring, the cigar smoke haze that was still in the room even when we started, and of course the infamous wrestling at the Chase bell that I didn't know that was there until I actually got in the ring, and that sent chills up my spine before I had to go and compete. So it was something that was definitely magical in the air that last Thursday night for sure.
Absolutely. And again, it's the beauty part is we all did our jobs and we did well from the beginning of the card, which was you, to the end of the card, which was the Silicon. Every match hit its mark, and it was an honor to have them say, hey, it's not a matter of if, it's when we're going to have you back. And I was just like, again, humbled, beyond humbled. And again, when you look at the SICW locker room, in the roster that we have of the talent and the diversity, like it's bar none in the local Midwest region. You yourself have recently joined the SICW roster. And you know what? I know you're the host and you're the one interviewing me, but I got to ask you, buddy, you've been on several cards of the SICW so far. What is your take of like how you feel being part of the SICW family?
Well, I tell you what, it feels like, with being with the TV tapings and being at the show so far, I will say that the caliber is definitely something that I've never been with before, and that is definitely in the high positive remark. As far as like the professionalism and how people, as far as the professionalism in the locker room, how things were handled, how the fans respond. And just the banter, between everybody in the organization, it's definitely top notch to me. I mean, it's very well, and I would say that I'm very, very honored, and I'm very blessed to at least be part of that, and I'm glad that I'm still around it, and hopefully it continues for quite a long time.
Yep, and Herb, talk about quite a long time. I can't think of any promoter locally that's been doing for over 47 years. A promoter who has literally done business with Sam Munchnick, Larry Matisick. Like, you talk about a man who has a resume that anybody would kill to have. And here we are, we're working for him. And that's just, again, in and of itself, humbling.
Yeah, it is. Because I'm a major historian, obviously, of this business.
Mm-hmm.
And if me getting 3 books here doesn't say anything about it, I don't know what will. But but and it also giving one away to one of our loyal listeners here, and I'm looking forward to doing that once we.
Oh, okay. Are you referring to this?
Oh yeah, that's the same book. Yeah, that one right there.
Now, again, we're the fans right now. They have the opportunity to win one of these from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, everybody who's watching, this book is a must-have. If you have a family member or a friend who's a wrestling fan, and Christmas is right around the corner, you absolutely must get this for them. It's unbelievable. And on top of that, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's
one picture, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But no, even SICW is mentioned in the book, and your picture is in it. Curtis Wild with Wildfires in it. Frankie D, Hargis and Casa's in there, and I believe Travis Cook, Attila Khan. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the list goes on and on of the greats that's in there. I think even Flash is in there too. So, just a lot of great pictures in there from the past, and it's just bone chilling. And like I said, I'll repeat it again. It's a book that classifies probably the greatest territory that the NWA has ever seen in its history when it came to the territory era. So
that's right.
It's good stuff, man. It really is. I haven't gotten through all of it yet, and I'm looking forward to getting through more. So
very good.
I just want the book.
Yeah, Z-Miz is over here kind of drooling.
So. Oh, I am. I want the book so bad.
It's great. Yeah. Hey, so you can go to SICW.org right now, and you can actually order the book, and it'll be delivered to your house. Did you know that?
I did, but see, I'm planning on being at the show the 30th to hang out with you guys and hopefully get the book from Ed himself, because I had the pleasure of speaking with the man with Mr. Rough Cut, and he has me pumped. You guys have me pumped, and now I'm just drooling over him even more.
There you go, buddy.
There you go, man. It's awesome. So once again, man, as always, we thank you very much for taking your time out. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of focus on you now, because that's basically what this show is all about. And kind of putting putting somebody on the platform, on a pedestal, basically who's been here in quite a while here in this business. So for the fans who don't know, tell us all about how your love began for professional wrestling, and who were your favorite wrestlers to watch when you started watching wrestling?
Sure. Well, I remember I was 12 years old. Even before that, I was 8 years old, and my parents bought me 2 Hasbro wrestling figures. One was Hulk Hogan, and the other was Jimmy Fly Snuka. And those are the ones that one pose. Like you wouldn't move their arms or legs or anything. The real old ones. And I didn't know what these figures were. And then my mom introduced me to professional wrestling, WWF back then. And it just kind of took off from there. I remember being at home and watching on Monday nights through the 90s, early 90s. And we were too poor for pay-per-view. But I had the poor man's pay-per-view. I remember watching the WrestleMania where Shawn Michaels faced Bret Hart for the title. But it was through pixelated snow. But just enough volume to where I could hear what was going on and see and get what was going on. And that's how much of a hardcore fan I was.
Yeah.
So I would say if I had to pick a wrestling star that I enjoyed watching growing up, it was Shawn Michaels. I was a huge fan. Just the fact he was a little guy, but he was so confident and so flamboyant. I started watching him when he was going through the babyface phase where everybody was loving him. And I was a tiny guy in high school. I was maybe 130 pounds soaking wet. And I was like, well, God, he's tiny too. Well, not really. He had muscles. But, if he could be a heavyweight champion and get all this, love and respect, God, I would want that. Well, fast forward a few years. I'm 16 years old. I'm leaving my first job, Hardee's. And I find a poster on a gas station wall for a wrestling show, Midwest Renegade Wrestling. I'm sure you've been being a connoisseur of the arts of Midwest Wrestling. You've heard of that company.
Yep.
Pause for drag effect. Okay, so there was a pause. So yeah, Midwest Renegade Wrestling. It was a poster for a show. I didn't go to the show, but at the bottom of the poster, there was, if you want to be a pro wrestler, call this number for the MRW Wrestling School. And I tore that poster down without asking, ran home, and begged. Yeah, I stole their advertising for their show. Sorry, anybody who now knows that. And begged my parents to take me. And I went on a Tuesday. It was a hot July summer in a steamy garage of a St. Charles Rock Road. And my very first trainer was, oh my God, I'm blanking on his damn name. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Anyway, I started my training down there at the old garage off of St. Charles Rock Road. If you've heard of Gateway Championship Wrestling, and if you ever heard of the old garage shows, this is where they're speaking about. It was right next to a dance studio. And every Tuesday and Thursday night, I would go there. And my parents would drive me from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I would train my butt off, and they would pick me up. It was kind of like dropping me off the Boy Scouts when it was professional wrestling. And yeah, I trained Ty Dalton. Bam! It just hit me. I'm sorry. Ty Dalton was my first trainer. Then came Dino Blade and Pete Madden and everybody else. I'm kind of giving you the fast forward version of the story that is Sean Vincent and how he got started. So if you want to stop me and ask a question, feel free to.
Well, you kind of already led into one of our questions.
Well, okay, go ahead.
That's all right.
I felt like I was droning on there, and I was like, I should probably stop and breathe.
So the cool fact is I had those same two Hasbro action figures that you did.
Oh, cool.
Because I had multiple ones, and I wish I still had them. And then today, my son and I were just at Walmart, and AEW is bringing those back. And one of the first ones they did is the Cody Rhodes. Holy cow. I might have to go back and get it tomorrow because it looked just so dang good in the package.
That's awesome. I had no idea that. You know what? There's so many things they're trying to like pay homage to. Like I heard they're going to do the ice cream bars also.
Yeah. So like it looked really good though, dude. Like I was so pumped when I saw it, and I was like, I want to buy it, but I knew my wife would get mad.
Right. Oh, real fast. Jim Hoffman just said Ty Dalton, the master of the Hindu squats. That is an absolute fact. Because the warm-ups that he would have us do, just the warm-up, was at least 100 Hindu squats before we even got in the ring. So, and me having spaghetti legs, it was 30 minutes, like easy. While everybody else is bumping, little Sean Vincent had to play catch up. So with that said, yeah, man, that's how I got started in business. MRW then became Gateway Championship Wrestling with Ben Oliver, Big Bad Ben, and the rest of the crew of GCW.
So then, you've already hinted to or told us who you were trained by and all. Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to get your first match in the professional wrestling world?
Right. So, see, now that's the difference between when I grew up in 27 years ago and today. And I say that because later on we're going to talk about the Ace Wrestling Academy. It took me 2 years. 2 years. Now, granted, by today's standards, that's way too damn long. You would have cut the guy off and said, hey, kid, this is not for you. But instead of being a pro wrestler at first, because I was slow to catch on, I was a referee. And I did the first year and a half in the business as a referee. So 2 years, yeah. And in a matter of those 2 years, I saw the likes of Delirious, Matt Seidel, come to the training gym. I remember the first days, those guys were taking their first bumps in a ring. And here I am still trying to learn the basic bumps. And then here's Matt Seidel just bumping away like he was born to do this shit. No pun intended. And then Delirious, same thing, came in with just this natural. Some people just have it right out the gate, and then others take a little longer to kind of hold your hand and work your way through it. But I was very blessed because Ben Oliver, Ty Dalton, Pete Madden, Makazi, Keith Smith, they never gave up on me because they saw the passion I had. They saw I really wanted to do this. So eventually, that light bulb did turn on. I did get it. And you saw the transition from referee to referee / evil wrestler, which was then, like Ruby was alluding to at the beginning of this podcast, has many different like past names and monikers. And one was the head sexy official.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's so damn good.
I was an evil referee who thought he was too sexy to be a referee, but at the same time not above helping the heels win by bending the rules.
That's such a great gimmick. I love it.
It's over. It really did. I was one of the top heels in GCW from that gimmick. And then when I was finally done being a referee, I started to tag with Demon G. He's known now as Jason Breed. And I was like, man, what could I do? Because I always was brought up, you have to match your tag team partner. And Jason was a thug / New Jack / ish character. So I said, Eminem, I'll be Slim Sexy. Head sexy referee to Slim Sexy. I wore the do-rag. I wore chains. I wore a FUBU shirt to the ring. I was Malibu Most Wanted before Malibu Most Wanted. And it got over. I was one of the biggest heels in GCW because of that really silly gimmick that just pissed people off. And I just always had that knack back then for doing that. And where was I going with this?
I don't know, but keep going.
No. At this point, I'm just telling stories. I guess just the evolution of, like, you originally asked me how long did it take me to train to be a pro wrestler, and I guess the long-winded answer was it was 2 years, but in the process of 2 years, I was a referee that transitioned to a wrestler, and off and running from there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. You had mentioned that Slim Sexy here, and somebody.
No, I miss my Richard. I really do. I found him on social media sometime years ago, and I don't know. He disappeared. He like vamped from social media. So if I could get in touch with Richard and we could do that whole Richard head gimmick again, I would be flat. I would pay him to be there just so I can hear the fans yell "dick" as I yelled Richard. Like, it's so easy. It's so good. I don't think Herb would go for that though. You know, we're GCW. We got away with the raunchy, rated R era, and that's kind of in the past. You know, we're more in the PG-13 era now. So I don't think fly. I don't think Slim Sexy. I don't think he would fly.
Right. Yeah, but innuendos are the best. Like, if you can make it PG and still give that that edge, like, the best stuff.
Slim Sexy 13. I don't think it would work.
Right. So, well, even when you start off with Slim Sexy, and even up until today, I'm sure you've adapted several styles, but if you had to compare your wrestling style to a well-known wrestler, who would that be?
Ooh, I've never been asked that question because I haven't really ever. My adaptation, I've always tried to be. I love grappling. I love being able to chain wrestle. I watched a lot of Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko is one of my favorites to watch growing up.
Hell yeah.
William Regal. Ooh.
My dude.
Yes. He could tie a guy in knots, and just the simplicity of it. You know, he'd grab a limb and just lock on like 5 different holds, and you were entertained. You know, and he wouldn't take one bump, which was even more astounding. Heel-wise, I would like to say Brian Pillman was really good. Like, he was very impactful. Like, he's just, you know, a wise man once said, you know, I'll make you believe in me. You don't have to believe what I do, but you'll believe me. And that was Brian Pillman in a nutshell. You actually thought that guy was fucking nuts. But no, he's the most educated worker in the whole damn locker room. So when it came
Yeah.
to style wrestling, yeah, definitely Dean Malenko, William Regal, and then like we're talking hard hitting, I would say Brian Pillman.
He's a man.
He's
Sorry.
You had to go bring up that gimmick.
It's
Oh.
okay. So I'm a WCW kid and all this stuff, and when I first met William Regal was like the shoot on Goldberg and stuff. So like that was mine, and
yeah.
And yes, I love Sir Steven Regal and all that. He's like everything about Steven Regal. Gold. WWE missed the boat on not. I mean, it was partially his fault, but like.
Oh yeah, when they put him in the bag and have him walk out to the ring for punishment, I was like, oh, who this off? like talk about killing your career right there.
But the thing is, he turned everything around to make it something like
he did.
We as fans still talk about him, even though we know some of the backstories behind things. But he's still one of our like. He's gonna live on because that he never won the big one. He's gonna be that Roddy Piper that that because they never won or that we wanted to see them win the big one, never did. Like he's so good. Oh God, I love William Regal.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. No, hey, you marked out just a little bit, but it's all good. It's all good. We're all marks at the end of the day, brother. I mean, you don't get to the wrestling business and not be one. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's a great combination between Regal, Malenko, and Pillman. What a mixture.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, this is not a mixture of someone bringing up Dwayne Gill and Umaga. Well, who the Rat Boy?
Oh my God! I still talk to that guy. He just had a boy. Rat Boy had a boy. And he did how like people do like these really cute photo shoots for their newborn babies. They pose them in baskets and flowers and shit. He posed his baby boy with a cigarette and a shot of Jack.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, that's Rat Boy. Like he does not a gimmick. That's just Rat Boy.
Oh.
A good throwback. Whoever mentioned Rat Boy. John's, I think. Yeah.
Oh my God. If I could have seen that photo.
Look it up. Steve McNames. Yeah, and he doesn't care if I throw his shoot name out there. Yeah, look it up on his Facebook page. It is the best. I think I commented on it as this is like the best baby photo of 2021 by far. Compared it even, I'm like, this is fucking mad.
Oh my God, that is too funny.
Oh yeah.
Whew. So after getting started up in the wrestling business, through your refereeing, you're just getting into action, even through the course of all that. Which wrestler or wrestlers have you looked up to for guidance and advice to help guide your success?
Oh, that's easy. Keith Smith is at the top of that list. So Keith Smith is a guy that I always tell people when you have that light bulb moment where you have the tools, you know what you're supposed to do, but you don't know how to put it together. It's like an artist having a palette of paints and then not knowing how to use the paint. Keith Smith saw my potential, and he's like, you know what, Vincent, I know you think you know what you're doing, but there's a rhyme and reason for everything, and let me show you that rhyme and reason. And it's called psychology. And I always tell people that's when I turn from just a worker into a freaking worker, like a guy who can tell a story in the ring, a guy who can really sell himself, but not just myself, but sell my opponent. And tell a really awesome story in a match. So I always say, Keith Smith, absolutely bar none when it comes to psychology and who I am today as far as a worker. Other people, P. Madden, the guy I just recently tagged with actually at the Swansea Firehouse, was one of my mentors growing up. He taught me my first Hurricane Rana. Or Hurricane Rana, depending on who you are and how you're saying it. Taught me how to be a high flyer, Mike Sharona. And then I grew up, and then think about all the names I grew up with through Gateway Championship Wrestling that became big stars. Delirious, Matt Seidel, Mischief. She's now retired, but, International Star Mischief. All these people that I've known and came up with had a part of me and who I am. And you'll even see that in the ring. Makazi taught me how to do a snap suplex. And if you watch Makazi do a snap suplex and you watch Sean Vincent do a snap suplex, they're damn near identical because you are mimicking your teacher. You mimic your instructors. And just those names, all those names I just mentioned, if I left anybody out, I'm thinking about you, and it's not intentional. But I am very blessed to have been brought up in business among really smart people. What's that old saying? If you want to get better at something, surround yourself around people that are smarter than you. I was literally always throughout the business, I've been blessed to have always been around people who have the ability to teach me something to elevate myself. And I was humble enough to always remember that you never stop learning in this business. If you think you know it all, leave. Just stop, retire. Because that's not the truth. You're always learning. You can always learn from a match you just had. And that was taught to me by guys that were fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. You never stop learning in the business. And like I said, I agree. And I even said it before. If you think you know it all, you're in trouble. You might as well start packing your bags.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings is if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right?
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Oh, shoot. So, so we already touched on with your first moniker. I think Z-Miz had something a little bit further into.
So the monikers of the personas you've had and throughout, which one has been your favorite one? I already know mine because that you already, huh?
I'm sexy.
Okay, that's I'm already sold on that.
To this day, like years later, I have fans coming up to me going, "Oh, we gonna throw in the FUBU?" I'm like, the FUBU don't fit no more. I gotta get resized, brother. No, that was the absolute funnest time I ever had in this business, where I was free to take my character and just run with it. Was definitely during the Slim Sexy era. And again, is because I was also working with a lot of people that were just phenomenal, from Dingo, the Dimebag Dingo, to Matt Seidel, to Mischief, to Daisy Hayes. They all helped take that character and just elevate it. So that was the most fun I've ever had, period. And then the runner-up would be, I think I called myself the Canadian hero, but I was evil, and I had Travis Cook as my manager when I broke into SICW. And then today, runner up, and it's not to say I don't love my job, because I do. Herb Simpson, I know you're watching. Did I just say Simpson? Simmons. My God, I'm fired. I am so fired. Herb Simmons. You know what? Funny story, and I don't care to say it on here because it was in front of a live audience at East Crown Lake Community Center. I get on a microphone, I'm face to face with a guy from Tennessee whose name's eluding me, and I'm going to cut this epic promo before I match, this babyface promo. And I'm like, you know what? You got to understand something, brother. You're in the house that Herb Simpson's built. The whole audience heard it. I enunciated that so perfectly that there was no covering it up. And the guy I was wrestling did a fantastic job, because he immediately went, like he wasn't gonna let it go, and the audience started laughing. And I'm actually kind of shocked that didn't go anywhere, and that the fans didn't bring like a Simpsons version of Herb Simmons like on a poster. Kind of shocked. It never took off, and I'm actually kind of glad it didn't. But then I became a Herb Simmons ambassador of SICW, which was a true honor. He approached me and was like, Vincent, you've been with me now for about a decade, and you go above and beyond. I was working with the talent. I was locker room general. I was helping guys get ready for their matches. I was calling guys on off days. I was promoting SICW. I was living, breathing SICW. And he's like, I would like to refer to you as my ambassador. And I was like, is that just a name or is that like a legit? No, it was legit. He wanted me to be the face, the guy that he can call up and say, hey, I need you to be my right-hand man. And I'm like, that's wow. Herb Simmons, man, again, Larry Matisick, you know, it's just wrestling takes his whole 47 years in his business, and he's asking me to be his ambassador. What an honor.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Now, I did put up here, Corey had asked you, how did you come up with Slim Sexy?
Okay, so again, I was tagging with Demon G, and I needed to have some. He was, again, he kind of was paying homage to New Jack in a way. So how do I fit that? I want to like at least somewhat look like a tag team. So Eminem was really big around that time, and still is. And he was the Real Slim Shady was a song that was just booming on the charts. So I was calling myself the head sexy official. So take off the head official and put in, instead of Slim Shady, it was Slim Sexy. And I came out with the FUBU shirt on, the most cheap pawn shop like bling you could wear that would ship when I would get up on the ring post. Well, my neck would turn green. It was that cheap.
It's even better.
Like that, like, can you imagine? I take off the do-rag, I take off the chains, and before I lock up, on camera, you see a green streak on my neck. Yeah.
Awesome.
Terrible.
God, so much gold.
So that's how Slim Sexy came about.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. That is too funny. Shoot. So I guess, I'm trying to remember what promotions that you had actually worked for. I mean, I know MRW, GCW, then SICW, and hopefully we'll get him back.
I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than GQ stays up here, right?
Yeah, that's all right. Should we dare do this? Nah. Well, I don't know.
Hopefully his power didn't go back out.
Oh, yeah, well, not necessarily the power. I mean, you're oh, here we go.
He's back. He's back.
All right.
Okay.
Guess who's back? Back again.
And yeah, and then you're gone. Like, what the shit? All right, so you're at the promotion I have worked for. Really, honestly, too many to really talk about, but I'll say MPW back in the day, Searcher's Old Fed, where I met Searcher, Scar, the Butcher, Chico S. Loco.
Chico S. Loco. Yeah.
All those guys back in the day worked for them. I worked for Ian Rodden. Not Herb Simmons, but Henry Hubbard.
Yeah.
I forgot what his wrestling company was called. Because this was like over a decade ago. Henry Hubbard was a promoter in St. Louis who ran all the Army bases and naval bases throughout the United States. He was actually paid by the government to put on wrestling shows. And he picked up me and my buddy Cameron Cage and put us together a tag team and literally paid us to travel with him to all the Army bases all over the United States. So I've wrestled in almost every military base across the United States for 2 years back in the early 2000s, after I think it was like 2009 to 2011. That was the coolest time ever, because not too many guys can say that they were paid for their travel, their hotel room, their food expense, and paid a budget to perform. And I got to work with, not work with, but I shared a locker room with a lot of WWE talent, TNA talent at the time, because Henry Hubbard had contracts through both. And do you have another question? Because I was going to spin off into something really cool that would have happened but didn't happen.
I still think though it was government money well spent. If I had to be part of that.
Hey, I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how, but I was just enjoying the ride. Me and Cameron Cage.
Oh yeah.
I got to meet Teddy Long. I had 2 business dinners with Teddy Long, and he talked through Henry Hubbard and me about possibly having a dark match on SmackDown. It didn't work out because I ended my business relationships with Henry Hubbard. And soon after that, actually about 4 or 5 months later, I met Herb Simmons. So, yeah, good
You would have
times.
went one-on-one with the Undertaker.
That'd be
Yeah.
We were just talking Teddy Long, so I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well. Oh, all right. Yeah, I see.
Oh, you
he
guys
could have
didn't-
put him in it. He could have
I'm
put
too
him in a
much of a
tag
mark.
team match.
God, I'm terrible.
Could have put me in a tag team with the Taker? Yeah.
No. Teddy Long would be like, you're going to go one-on-one with with Taker player.
Oh, okay.
They used to be a oh my God, come on, people.
I'm sorry, I mean, I get the joke you're trying to go with here, but it's just
Yeah, it's bombing hard. It's okay. It's okay. If it was a meme, it would have been good.
yeah.
So, do you actually have a most memorable title win, and why would that, and why would that title, and why would you, well, which title win is most memorable to you? I'll simplify that.
That's easy. It was the first title I ever won. It was the GCW light heavyweight title. No one saw it coming. The way they booked, it was Outcast. I think we were in Cape Girardeau at the Armory. This was 2004, 2003, and Ben Oliver kayfabed the locker room that I was gonna get the belt that night. And this is, I think I was still doing the whole evil referee, head sexy official thing, so I didn't really have the actual gimmick that made me, which is some sexy yet. And we did the match, and I went over, and the shock from the audience, the oceans of boos, and the it almost like you screwed Brett moment, because Outcast played it up so good. He was like, Outcast was shocked. It was just, I think we did like a simple quick roll up. And it was like, holy shit, he just got the title. And then I get to the back, and I remember Delirious is back there. And Delirious looks at me and goes, they put the belt on you? And he didn't mean it the way it came out. It was just like, he was just like, holy shit. So when you can swerve the locker room and swerve the fans, it was just, I haven't had that moment since. And I have had many other titles throughout the years, spanning MPW, GCW, in other companies. But when you can just take the fans' breath away with, we did not see that coming, and then walk to the back and have the guys you work with go, okay, it was really cool. So yeah, I'd say that was probably the one.
Oh yeah, well, cool, awesome. Well, I mean, a lot of people remember their first title wins. I mean, I do. In fact, I remember my first win. In fact, I remember my first match. There's a lot of firsts I remember. Yeah, and hold on to for sure. So, like you said, as long as you've been around the business, as long as I've been around the business, we see some things go. I mean, everything. Some things go smooth, some things go good, and then some things not going so well. But what I would want to ask is, what would you consider to be your biggest pet peeve in the wrestling business?
I hate it when I see a heel shaking hands and glad handing before a show to sell merchandise, and then come out to the ring and try to get heat. It is the biggest pet peeve of mine. Like, how can you go from, hi, hey, buy my shirt, let me kiss your bait, buy a button, to, hate me, I'm out here now, hate me. It's like, the psychology is totally fucked. And I've told Greenhorns this before, if you're going to be a heel and be a true heel, Have someone sell your merchandise for you. You shouldn't even be seen by the fans. The fans, the kind of fans you see you is when you're walking out to the ring and walking back. And that's it. And some people just miss that mark. They just forget that, if you're trying to sell who you are and make them believe in who you are, you got to be that 100% all the time.
Yeah. That I get. Yeah. So it's like, if you're going to be the bad guy, you don't want to be glad handing or try to pander to the crowd, hey, I mean, it makes no, it does make no sense. Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. You want to buy my stuff? Yeah. Okay. Come out later and then curse them.
Great. Or like back in the day when I was a heel and I was a part of like an autograph booth. What is that guy's name in AEW who's just over as a heel right now?
MJF.
There's a photo that had me just dying. He's at an autograph signing booth, and he's flipping off a little kid. And I'm like, yes! He doesn't want to be there. He's forced to be there. This is an obligation in his contract that he has to be here. So he's being a prick. Now, granted, I would never flip off a child, but,
right.
At least act as if you don't want to be there because you don't want to be there. If that's the case. You don't want to be in front of the fans. Who are the fans? Anyway, so that's, in a long roundabout way, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
I agree with him 100% on that too, because one of my buddies and I went to a Comic-Con, and Chris Jericho was the head wrestling signer there, and it was during his whole I'm the greatest at what I do gimmick was going on. And I told my buddy, I'm like, if he is not a dick to us, we're getting up out of line and we're walking off. Like, I'm not going to accept his autograph. I'm not like that. So we get up there and we go to do it. And he sees my Jericho shirt. He's like, you ain't a fan. Take that shit off. Like, started calling me all the names in the world. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah. So you do it.
Yeah. So before Z gets to his next question here, someone put up Corey again. It's like, have you ever worked overseas or in Mexico? And if so, what country has the best fans? If you did go out, if you did go out of the country.
Sure. No, I have never. I've had opportunities.
Me neither.
One opportunity was 2 years ago. Ricky Cruz offered me to go to Puerto Rico with him, which is part of the United States. I get it. That's you're wrestling outside of the U.S., but not really. And I think that was going to lead to us taking a trip to Mexico to, again, he promised nothing, but just to introduce me to some bookers, which I still like. Talk about a cool guy, that of Ricky Cruz to even offer that. And then working for Henry Hubbard, there was an opportunity to go wrestle overseas. I forget where. My tag team partner Cameron Cage went, but I didn't because I had the falling out with Henry Hubbard. So have I had opportunities to wrestle out of the country? Yes. I even got my passport for when I was going to work for Henry Hubbard at one of the Army bases overseas. They had the Honky Tonk Man on and Billy Gunn. It was actually going to be a really cool tour. But had it ever panned out? No. And sometimes that's for the best. A lot of people don't realize that when you go overseas to work for some of these companies, you're paying to get there. And you're paying while you're there. And you're paying to get to the venue. And they're paying you to work. Absolutely. But a lot of it you're coming out of pocket for, and you're going to be in the negative more than positive when you do these overseas tours. That comes from stories that I've learned from guys who went over and worked in Japan. New Japan wants to book you. Fantastic. The contract only states that we'll buy your flight to get you here and your flight back, but you have to pay for your hotel room, you have to pay for your food, and whatnot. And I'm not saying New Japan. That's the first company that came to my mind. When it came to describing a company overseas. There are guys that have done that. And maybe they're just bad negotiators. Maybe that's what it is. But I think, like, if the opportunity ever came for me to go and the time was right and the money was right, I would absolutely love to work in Mexico. That has always been my passion. I love their culture. If you ever seen AAA, It's the fans are just those are the fans that want here in the United States badly, and you kind of see it with AEW and the ravenous fans in their audience. But I'm talking about like local Midwest. Like we have those fans on the independent scene locally. Oh. Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, that is.
All right. Well, I think that was. I'm sorry to interrupt in front of you, Z, but I figured,
You're good.
hey, why not ask? I mean, I know I haven't wrestled out of the country.
That's a good question. Like Corey's come up with 2 good questions now, so respect.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Corey.
So going off of what our notes say and what we have, what would be your greatest feud or storyline that you've had personally in the wrestling world?
Two come to mind. Back in the day when I was Slim Sexy Sean Vincent, I ran a program with Mischief and Daisy Hayes where I was doing kind of an Andy Kaufman kind of nod, where I was like, women do not need to be in this business. This is for men and blah, blah, blah. And I'd get in there and I'd beat the crap out of both of them. They beat the crap out of me. And it ended with a fantastic icing on the cake match that got over huge with the wrestling fans and still talked about today. And then the other one who I've never had a bad match with, and just was it 2-3 years ago, I think we had this phenomenal marriage in professional wrestling when you work a guy for a long stint. Curtis Wilde, as much as he is a dick to the fans today, he and I have always done great business together, and our last feud ended in a steel cage match, which was my very first steel cage match ever. And the fans loved it. It went over great. I learned a really smart thing that day about cage matches, and that is you don't wrestle without a shirt on or some kind of singlet, because he gave me a fallaway slam into the cage, and it was cheese grating down my back the whole way down.
Oh.
It was like someone took a rake that was sharpened and then just drug it down my back.
Oh.
And it looked like it too. So if you ever have the pleasure to do a cage match, wear a singlet and don't make that mistake. Yeah.
Oh,
Duly noted.
Yeah.
Now was the match really an icing on the cake match, or was it just like the icing on the cake?
The whole thing. Oh, you're talking about the me versus Mischief and Daisy Hayes?
Correct. Yes.
That match was phenomenal. Basically, long short of it, it's a match that we all enjoyed very much, but it's also a match that we're like, wow, if we can go back and turn back time, we'd probably not do certain things that we did in that match with respect to our careers today. When you're young and you see things on paper and you're like, oh my God, fuck, that'd be amazing. That's gonna get over huge. And then you fast forward and you're like, yeah, maybe we could do about that. It was great. It was a triple threat match between me and Daisy Hayes and Mischief. It was at an adult show, and we beat the snot out of each other. We paid homage to a Roddy Piper Goldust WrestleMania match. Do you guys remember that? Where
I do. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So Sean Vincent, being a misogynist, make me a sandwich a-hole, I thought to myself, yeah, how cool would it be if he wore ladies' underwear in his wrestling gear?
Oh.
How damn hilarious if the fans saw that as the blow-off to the feud. So we paid homage to that match. At the end of the match, Mischief tore away pants that were tearaways, which, by the way, if you ever actually watched the match, they kept tearing away too soon. And Mischief said she'd kick me and go, fix your pants. Because it was too soon. It was too soon. So we had awesome. There's other parts of the match too that is not kid friendly, but it was just like, again, icing on the cake. Fantastic. You got a huge reaction. And again, who knew so many damn years later that we talked about to this very day? Even Mischief's like, are they still talking about that? I'm like, yeah, Mischief, they're still talking about that match. And it was just great, man. So between that and what me and Curtis Wilde did at SICW, with again. I don't know if you guys did you watch any of the vignettes? You probably, if you had to be following SICW, you see them. But I had Curse, Wild, and Wildfire working on my ranch for like 4 or 5 different vignettes where they're hauling hay, hauling manure. Wildfire got knocked into a horse trough in an evening gown. They had to sleep in a horse stall.
I remember you posting this on We Talk Wrestling every once in a while. Yeah, I've never seen them.
Oh my God, they were so good. The guys were so huge. And then to have matches in between those and finally culminate on December, our final show in a cage. Again, it's all about how you tell. Did Curtis clean your barn up? Yes, Herb Simmons. That's what I was just talking about. Did. To have that culminate, again, it's just good storytelling. It's just good. I hate it when I see a feud or a really good match between 2 guys who have, or 2 girls who have good chemistry, and it's just a one-night match. Like, I don't think locally we don't tell enough stories and draw it out. Like, you ever go to a wrestling show and you're like, why did they just drop the title to that guy? What's the story behind it? I'm so confused. You know, but then if you got guys that will do the work and put promos out there and add substance to the feud, and then over time and over months tell that story and then have it, you know, come to a conclusion, you don't see that very much anymore or anywhere besides, I mean, hey, to my horn, but SICW.
Yeah.
I would agree again.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, and there's also promotions too. I mean, as long as they're remotely neighboring within each other, like the cities are like kind of neighboring, like even if they're like off like maybe 30, like 20, 30 miles away from one another. I mean, you could pull something like that off. I know that ACW has been trying to do that even with the tag team and the singles, championship and everything. So,
well, that's great. And the thing is, like, when people tell me that, hey, Vincent, I want you to come to the show and I want you to see my match because it's going to be a great match. It's going to be this gimmick match. And I'm like, okay, cool. What led up to it? Oh, all this stuff led up to it. I'm like, well, where can I see it? Oh, it's not online. You had to be at the shows. You're kind of on the mark there. You know, we live in a day and age of technology where we have Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Like, there's so many ways of getting your matches and your promos out there. I mean, if you look at my plug for myself real quick, if you put in Sean Vincent on anything that involves Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you'll find me. You know, and I am consistently posting promos for SICW. You've got to put the work in. And if you're going to be in a program with a worker that you're telling a story over several months, no one's going to know that story if you're not putting the extra work in and advertising it.
right.
So good for
Preach.
you're doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's see, where was I at here? Oh yeah. So besides the title win, is there any other match that stands out to you to be most memorable to you?
Yes, very recently. It was at the Missouri Athletic Club against Steve Fender. Oh man, I wish we could show that match to the fans because it was, again, this was a private event for the members of the Missouri Athletic Club, and we tore it down. Like back and forth action. We were nonstop. You know, there's this old saying, you're only as good as your opponent staying across the ring from you, because you're going to bring the best out of each other or you're going to bring the worst out of each other. And that night we brought the best out of each other. We just brought it. And it's a damn shame that the fans are not going to see that match. That match will be seen soon.
It's from Herb's mouth himself, or his fingers, technically.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected from the boss himself. Even him, like after the match, even though I did lose, due to, you know what kind of pisses me off is an incompetent ref. And this is just me going on a little vent real quick. He got me with a backslide at the 14-minute mark, and my shoulder was up. It was clearly up. I know there's a video out there. It was up. And the ref counted 3. And I'm looking at Herb. He's at ringside, and he looks shocked. And I'm like, who hired this idiot? And I go over and I grab you're not supposed to touch the referee. That's illegal. And Herb was kind enough not to fine me. But I was pissed. Because here we are, the Missouri Athletic Club. I was on the precipice of beating superstar Steve Fender. And due to a technicality of a blind ref with cataracts that couldn't see a shoulder off the mat on a backslide, he won. I really hope that they play that live and you guys can see it, and maybe I get the fans to. If we go back to Missouri Athletic Club, I'd like a rematch against Steve Fender because I talk about a cheap win. Talk about if I was Steve Fender, where's your honor, man? I mean, really, is that how you want to go out with the best show of 2021 at the Missouri Athletic Club? You want to go out on a cheap win? So, who knows? I hope the match is released. So to answer your question, to this date, absolutely. That was a knockout, drag-out, phenomenal match.
Right on.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that was definitely quite a night. And I did happen to see footage of mine. And it's just the way that the crowd was popping right at the beginning.
See, now I want to see this even more.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't give Ruby the props that he deserves. I'm telling you, it was the opening match is never the easiest match, period. You are setting the tone for the whole show. To talk about the pressure. And then you're in a room, in an arena, with a bunch of high-class, white-collar people. They're judging your ass. Which, by the way, Ruby, I don't know if you knew this or somebody cued you in on this, but I'm up in the gorilla position. I'm looking down, and after the match, I saw guys disgruntled handing money over to other guys. They're taking bets on your match.
Oh, I heard about this. Yes. Yes.
These white-collar people were betting on the wrestling matches, legit bets. And it was just hilarious. I don't think anybody lost any money on me.
Yeah.
It's kind of disheartening to an extent. No, I'm kidding. But still.
Yeah. So, well, I will say that, yeah, one thing if you learn and think about wrestling, when I'm on the card, don't bet against me. So I heard that too. And I about laughed so hard when I heard that somebody had actually, 100. Yeah. See, this is technically white collar with hundreds of dollars were spent. I'm sorry, but you got to give it to the sponsors who actually were at this event. I mean, just throwing the money around. But you know what? You may call a white collar, and we were even talking about what is the average. We talked with that about who is the average wrestling fan. We don't know. Well, not with Ed, but when we played it, our show last week was aired. It was taped previously, but Bob Kosasak, Larry Matysek, or Bruiser Brody, who is the typical wrestling fan? There's really no typical wrestling fan. These guys were probably in ties and collars and they had money, but they still got up and they were excited for it anyway. You can't really judge who's the typical wrestling fan.
That's right.
Because it comes from all over. And I will say though, that was funny. And from what I heard is that when they got the money, they threw it up in the air. So at least that's
I didn't see that, but I heard that too, and that was just astounding. So yeah, man. I hope we're back very soon. And again, they said it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when, and that great time to be our best ICW.
Yeah, exactly. So going from your most memorable match, but do you have a list of dream matches that you still would like to have in your career? And if so, what are they?
I don't know about dream matches. I mean, if it was possible, I would love to work Jake the Snake Roberts, but that's not even going to happen. That's not in the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one match with Delirious.
Oh man.
That would be cool. Him and I go back many, many years, and just to step in the ring and have a really great technical match with him would be phenomenal. There are some wrestlers that are no longer working to this day that I would say, hey, if you lace up your boots just one more time, that'd be really cool. Ty Dalton would be, student versus teacher, would be a great story to tell at SICW. You know, Wes Briscoe. I had a match with him several years ago at SICW. I would love to have another go at him. I think we really just kind of scratched the surface of what we could have done. So, Wes Briscoe, if you're watching this, call Herb Simmons and get your butt back to SICW.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of the promoter of SICW, being in the ring with Dory Funk Jr.
Yes, that was the coolest thing. Another perk about working with one of the best promoters in Missouri and Illinois, period, is being able to have the honor to work with legends of today and yesterday. And I was honored to tie up with Dory Funk in a tag match. And let me tell you something right now, dude, no one has hit me harder than that guy in the ring. And that's a shoot. Here I'm thinking I gotta go easy on this guy. I don't want to be the guy who injures Dory Funk, and then he's just straight up, come here, kid. Manhandles the shit out of me. But I learned so much that night from Dory Funk Jr. There's actually a really cool photo out there floating on the internet. And again, this is back when I was with Travis Cook and he was my manager. And I'm dogging Dory Funk to his face. And Dory Funk just has this look on his face like, really? And then we lock up and we do the business, and it was astounding, dude. The amount of names too that have gone through the locker room of SICW legends have just been amazing.
Yeah, because I mean it goes back several years, many years.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think there's even, I don't know, there may still be a list on SICW.org on the legends that have actually came through. Mm-hmm. So I know there was one time, it may still be there.
I think there still is.
One of my favorites, though, was bar none, Jim Cornette. You want to talk about a guy who has zero filter. You will learn so much from a 30-minute conversation with Jim that it will just enlighten you. The conversation I had with him was basically over locker room etiquette with the boys and just how people handle themselves between now and back then in the 90s. Like how guys in the 90s, you showed up for the job you wanted, not the job you already had. They dressed in slacks and dress shoes and dress shirt and ties. And now you go to an indie locker room, you see guys walking in there like you just got out of a gym. They don't care. And I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, that's if you want to stand out, that's one way to stand out. But also just how guys are killing themselves in the ring just to have a basic match. The amount of stuff you're doing in the ring that's killing your body and shortening your career, you don't have to do that to get over. And just anyway, without giving too much away, Jim Cornette was just an astounding person, just one of many legends that have come across SICW. And talk about legends, October 30th. Wow, that card is stacked.
That it is. Yeah, we were plugging that earlier before you came on here tonight. We've been plugging the shows, and we've got, I would say that, we were talking about the legends going through before we get the bell clear. Harley Race has been through SICW, Hillbilly Jim, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Rocky Johnson, rest his soul, just a lot of great people. And of course, we don't need to mention, Larry Madison. He was there on a constant, regular basis.
Man, the cool story about Larry Madison, I'll share real quick. I took a hiatus from wrestling for 2 years to accomplish one of my other goals, becoming a registered nurse.
Right.
And Larry Madison was at my graduation from nursing school.
Nice.
he literally showed up with Herb Simmons, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I have Larry Masick at my graduation. This doesn't get any cooler than that. And just the friendship that I built with Larry, like the hours and hours of conversations I've had with him over the phone, and again, that's all thanks to Herb Simmons introducing me to Larry and allowing me to form a friendship with him, and just the blessings that come with being with the best promoter in the Midwest. And again, I dare anyone to compare Herb Simmons to any other promoter, and try to say there's someone better, because that's gonna be a tough argument.
It is. Yeah, yeah. Then let's see, and Ricky Steamboat, J.J. Dillon, and
Oh, that'd been awesome. J.J. Dillon's one of my favorite managers of all time.
Yeah.
Yep. Him and like two other Four Horsemen were at a Swansea, Illinois Firehouse show, and I had the Ace Academy wrestling students there, and they did not just them, but several other there, and they worked out in front of the Four Horsemen, and they got critiqued by them, and that was all possible by Herb Simmons.
Jelly.
Oh, absolutely.
My heroes right there. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, legitimately my heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the show that you're speaking of here, I'm sure.
Yes, I am.
Yep. The Halloween Spectacular. I would say the most intrigued, the one I'm actually most intrigued. I mean, I'm excited for all of them. The one that really intrigues me, though, I was telling Z earlier, is Dr. D. David Schultz. This guy, this is a guy that really shook up, the mainstream media back in the 80s when he popped the reporter. I mean, this guy pretty much laid the foundation for all of that.
Yep.
And he doesn't really get out much from what I hear for doing shows.
You're excited about him, and you should be, because he's a phenomenal guy. I'm excited about Haku.
Oh.
All right, and all the stories that come along with the name Haku, and then the fact that he's going to be Attila Khan. One. Look, there it is.
That's the whole right there. I'm with Vincent 100%.
Like, I am going to be glued to the monitor in the back for this match. You want to talk about a match of the year? This has the makings of it. Not just the match of the year, match of the century. When you have the International Bounty Hunter Attila Khan taking on King Haku in a knockout, drag-out brawl. Now, they're going to be in the same arena that Attila Khan defeated Tommy Dreamer just 2 years ago in a hardcore match. So, I mean, how do you step your game up? Boom, right there, King Haku. This is going to be one that you're going to want to be there in person to see. Get a front row seat, get there early, and just prepare for war. Maybe even bring a splash guard, because there will be blood.
Oh man, I was about ready to say I got 4 words. Get your mops ready, because it's gonna be. I have a feeling this is gonna be a big, big mess.
It is. I faced Silicon many times in the past. I've never left unscathed. He is a brutal man in the ring. He leaves no part of your body unscathed. And Haku, yes, he has his own reputation, but I gotta tell you, boy, this is gonna be a match that you don't know who's gonna be the winner. You can't take bets because it is so evenly matched.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just grabbing a small thing of popcorn and sitting back and watching what's gonna fly.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Now, also, did you hear about this? This was breaking news. Who Jerry the King Lawler is going to be taking on?
Yeah, we actually covered that too. The 444-pound monster Kowalski.
Now, I was in Tennessee just recently with Jerry King Lawler, and let me tell you, I saw him take on Rhino in person, and he defeated Rhino. So yes, you have over 400-pound Kowalski heading into, that match with Jerry King Lawler, but I would not at all underestimate Jerry the King Lawler if I was Kowalski.
Oh no, it's a whole different dynamic between Rhino and Kowalski. and he's tough. He's big, you know. And I'll be interested to see how Jerry's going to handle a guy that size at his stage, at the stage of his career.
You know what? I saw him literally put to bed Rhino with the pile driver in Tennessee. So I'm pretty sure Kowalski, even though he won't be an easy task, it's actually bigger than Rhino. I think I'm leaning more towards the experience and skill of Jerry the King Lawler. Now, those two matches are amazing, but did you hear about the Rock and Roll Express taking on the former SICW Tag Team Champions, the Professionals?
Yes, I have. Yeah, we announced that too. Um, just it's I'm going to be excited because I think this is going to be more of a technician style tag match that I'm going to be excited to see between both.
Again, I've been in the ring with Professionals with many different tag team partners, from Gary Jackson to Jason Breed to Bill McNeil, and we've fallen short on all occasions because the Professionals are that good. They are one of the top tag teams in the Midwest today. And for them to have the honor of facing the Rock and Roll Express, I am really interested in seeing what they can do with that old tag team. Like, you cannot replace years of experience with the Rock and Roll Express. I gotta say, I'd bet my money on the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would think so too. I mean, these guys are around for a reason, and they're successful for a reason. So
That's right.
At this point, you just can't really factor in age or how long you've been around. There's a reason why they're around.
I mean, they're still killing it at their age. So, I wouldn't even put age into this description.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it just like last year that like Ricky Morton even did like a suicide dive out of the ring?
Wouldn't be shocked. Would not be shocked.
I mean, my God. And yeah, like I said, he's got a school too up around Eastern Tennessee, close to Knoxville, with the School of Morton too. So he's still killing it, you know, in many aspects. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited here. So
see, and then you add in all your legends. It's going to be an astounding night. It all starts though around 4 p.m. Now you understand this is going to be an all-day event. We have hay rides for the kids, trunk or treat, a costume contest. This is all going to be taking part before the actual wrestling show in the evening.
Yep, exactly. Here, Jim, I put up a little comment here. I'm gonna follow that with a little shot fired. Until God, the best heel and Mo ill. So yeah,
I'm switching venues. Sorry, guys.
Nah, you're good. Hey,
I was having technical difficulties myself just a minute ago, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, but no, I think Z's got the next question though.
Yes, I do. So we've talked about some memorable moments and stuff. What's a particular memorable moment that stands out to you as a crowning achievement in your professional wrestling career?
You know what? It's not even anything remotely. Well, it kind of involves wrestling, but 2-3 years ago now, I started a Wrestling for Heroes for SICW, and the idea behind it was to go to children's hospitals around St. Louis and entertain children that are sick. I had a guitarist that would play solo music. I had a Elvis impersonator, and I had an artist, D'Artagnan, D'Artagnan Arts. We were going to go to all these hospitals and we were entertaining the children, and then it kind of fell through because hospitals are so, when it comes to children, with good reason, so the security is so high that it's hard to really get it off the ground and get clearance to go in there and entertain children. We did do one at Shriners Hospital, St. Louis, and it was so awesome. Myself, the guitarist I was referring to, and this Elvis impersonator entertained sick children for like 3 hours, and it got a lot of coverage. It was over huge. Shriners Hospital actually wanted to have us back, and it just never took off. And maybe I'll re-venture that down the road, but just to see the smiles on those kids' faces was awesome. And we brought them SICW merchandise, and I know again if you're like, oh, what's your crowning achievement in wrestling? Wouldn't it be a wrestling match? Wouldn't it be a championship title? No, it was literally entertaining sick children at Shriners Hospital. That was the coolest thing. And just talking about it right now, I'm definitely not going to let it be the last time we do that. And if SICW can do something like that where we reach out to kids and do something with Shriners, would be really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would, that's definitely an achievement. At least that's a great feeling in itself, knowing how you can give back, especially, in this industry. And there's nothing like giving back to the kids. They really need that uplifting more than anything. So
Yeah, it was just something that was just obvious, the kids that love professional wrestling. That is the market. If you think about it, a big chunk of the market is children, and it just made sense. So again, SICW for Heroes might make a return. I have to talk to Herb Simmons and see what we can do with Shriners. That'd be really awesome.
yeah, exactly. So on top of that, do you have like any other fan experiences, or even like a funny road story that stuck with you? Um, something that stuck in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, God, man, funny road story.
Yeah, like anything, like any type of ribs or anything else like that. Because I like hearing something about a good rib.
I got a rib, but it's actually a pretty mean rib. It happened to me. And I hope Dan Walsh is watching because it involves him. So we were out of town, deep south, I think in Boot Hill, Missouri, for Gateway Championship Wrestling, and Ben Oliver surprised us workers by getting us a hotel room. And when I say by getting us a hotel room, he got us 2 hotel rooms that 15 wrestlers had to share. So yeah. So, but still awesome though. I mean, a bunch of us guys, we all love each other. We met at work. So my wrestling bag back then, I had an ankle bracelet because I suffered a severe ankle sprain along the way, and I left my wrestling bag by accident in Dan Walsh's room where he was staying, and I slept in another room. Well, I wake up the next morning, my bag has been rifled through, and my ankle brace is missing. I'm like, what the? And I go in the bathroom, and my ankle brace is in the bathtub. I'm like, what the shit? Oh, ha, ha, ha. They got my ankle brace wet, whatever. I pick it up, I throw it in my wrestling bag, and I head home. It's about a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive. And it's summertime, and I don't have air conditioning.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, so I'm driving home, and I finally get home, and my car is just, there's something ammonia-like. I'm like, what is that smell? I get inside my house, my bag, and I unzip my bag, and the aroma that just punches me right in the face is of piss. What the fuck? So I call Stully, my buddy Paul, and I'm like, dude, why is my gear smell like piss? His reply, all right, Vincent, be calm. I'm like, don't tell me be calm. Tell me what happened. After you went to bed, Dan Walsh got up, saw your bag, took your ankle brace out, put it in the tub, and pissed on it. I'm like,
oh, that's gross.
asshole. So anyway, and then no, it gets worse. He goes, we kind of saw you putting it in your bag and zipping out your bag, and we didn't tell you. I'm like, so to this day, Dan Walsh, I'm gonna find something of yours. I'm gonna piss on it. Gotta be something. So anyway, That's just that's the rib that I will forever. I'll be 80 years old. I'll be rocking in my rocking chair on my front porch. I'll be like that Dan Walsh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. There's your road rib story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you ever have Dan Walsh on this show, bring that up. And then bring up there's I'm not saying he was notorious for pissing on people's things,
but he was.
but he was. And ask him about the recliner he destroyed one time that wasn't mine, and other things he's randomly pissed on, like a dog barking his territory. It was crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan is yeah, I can see Dan doing a lot of things like that. Dan was
awesome. Dan, he made MTV Road Rules.
Oh.
Yeah, he
really?
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He I remember he was going out for that, and he went out taping I think he was still around in town here still before. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, for Road Rules. Wow. That was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, I tried out for Real World.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow, talk about throwback.
I mean, my nickname is of my favorite wrestler that my friends gave me. So, my current favorite wrestler, I guess you could say, currently. So my friends call me Z-Miz, and that just carried on, and I carried on with it into the wrestling world because I am a mark for The Miz, who I was a fan of on Real World, and that's the whole reason I wanted to be on Real World, because of him.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, hey, everybody's got to have their idols.
I mean, it's so bad that like now as an adult, I found out that him and I share a birthday together. So like,
So have you ever gone to like a Comic-Con or an autograph sign? Like,
not yet. I have not been one close enough to Quentin.
We share a birthday together.
Yeah, every year I tweet the man. I do everything. Like, if I could just get a response, like I will mark out worse than I did with William Regal tonight. Like,
that's awesome.
I've always just liked him and enjoyed him, and then to be able to watch him grow in his career made it even better.
Oh yeah.
Wow, yeah. So here's one thing before I wanted to get away here for you, because I know that I want to talk about your involvement with the Ace Wrestling Academy, because I've actually had, like, literally within the last couple of weeks, people have actually asked me, hey, where can I start getting trained to if I'm serious about the wrestling business? I'm like, well, there's only two places I could think of, but one, if you're close to the St. Louis area, you need to head over to the Ace Wrestling Academy. That's where you need to go. So, is the academy still open for Tuesdays and Thursdays? Or
it is. It is at the East Crowley Community Center in East Crowley, Illinois, every Tuesday and Thursday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And you hit the nail on the head, brother. There are three wrestling schools in the Metro St. Louis area, and the Ace Academy is one of them. And it is owned and operated by Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. himself. We've been up and running for the past, I call it 2 years. We started actually in 2018, but because of the pandemic, we had to shut down for a while. But we are back up and running, and I see you got the information scrolling at the bottom there. So if you want to get started in professional wrestling, then call that number down below today, and we will get you going. Bob Orton and his instructors at his school will give you a great start in professional wrestling. And, what a way to break into the business than with a man who's at WrestleMania, Cowboy Bob Orton, a Hall of Famer of WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
The greatest top rope suplex there is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, the superplex. That's the. I don't think I remember. I was even trying to think who did the superplex before Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. And I don't think I can remember anybody that's done that.
I thought it was Bob's thing.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's pulling. Seeing that in the '80s, I was like, man, that is really gonna hurt someone's back.
And then now Randy does it in respect to his dad.
That's right.
And it's just as good almost. Keyword almost.
Almost, right. Exactly. So 618-286-4848 is where you're going to need to call to get started, or if you want more information on getting underway with the Ace Wrestling Academy. So, but most importantly, hey, what's going to be at the East Crime Community Center this coming weekend with Gil Rogers getting a shot at the newly revealed SICW Classic champion Attila Khan.
That's right.
Because of what happened in Swansea. And I think Jason Breed better keep one eye open in the locker room.
You know, Jason Breed's got nothing to fear. That man is tough as nails, and I gotta say, I would love to see Jason Breed get a shot at that Classic Wrestling Championship. You know, if anyone has a chance in my eyes, besides Gil Rogers, Saturday night, I'd say Jason Breed stands a really good chance at dethroning the international bounty hunter that is Attila Khan.
Yep, exactly. And then, of course, you don't want to forget, if you attend that show, you get into the following day for SICW All-Star Wrestling TV taping. That starts at 1 o'clock.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, buy a ticket at the show, and you get to enjoy the free TV taping and even be on TV, seen on TV on the SICW Explosion that is aired every Sunday night on YouTube, on the Hamble Network, and also on Facebook. So you can set up 2 ways. And pretty soon on Roku TV, SICW will have its own channel that will be airing and advertised on my Facebook page, on Instagram, on Twitter, on all your social medias. So get ready for a whole lot more of SICW action weekly.
Well, now I got to get a Roku stick again. Dang it.
Oh, yeah. Roku. Yep, definitely get a Roku, man. I'm sure out of the 5 I have in my house, I'm sure that'll definitely be downloaded. So,
what page was the YouTube channel again? Hannibal what?
The Hamble Network, Hamble TV.
I'll be adding that.
Yep.
Right after this.
I think it's now from he moved from Sundays to Mondays, but yeah, we're doing really well on that. Hey George, I see you, buddy. Thank you for being a fan of SICW. So yeah, we're blowing up SICW, and this is just the beginning. 2021 is going to end with a bang, and 2022, just get ready, strap in, because you're in for a hell of a ride at SICW style.
Yep. So Hannibal TV on YouTube, and also the Prentice Wrestling Network. That's where.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Very cool.
Yep, the Prentice Wrestling Network. That's where also will be here too. And then, yeah, I'm going to let everybody know now on the programming note, on Thursday, November 4th, we're not going to be airing a show because Cowboy Bob Morton is going to be honored at the Florissant Theater at the James Egan Center. And there's going to be like an open discussion and question and interview with people that are there, honoring Cowboy Bob Morton. And I believe Ed Wheatley will be there with his books, or at least with the Wrestling at the Chase book. So let everybody
I almost
know.
want to drive down
for
that one.
So I think take $10 for kid for adults, $5 for kids for that night, and I believe doors open at 6, and all the festivities start at 7. And I'm intrigued with this, Sean. Big announcement for December.
That's the second time Herb has said that now. Just say.
My lips are sealed.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Stay tuned. Wait till the cat's out of the bag by the man in charge. That's all I gotta say.
That's right. Like I said, guys, October 30th is looking to be an amazing show at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois. But I'm telling you, SICW is catching fire in a big way, and if you're a part of it, you're going to be in for a heck of a ride.
All right, absolutely. So, Sean, where can people find you on social media?
No problem. You can find me on Facebook, Sean Vincent. You also find me on Twitter and on Instagram. Again, Sean Vincent. It's astounding that there's not too many people with that tag name. You know, it's kind of cool, kind of unique. But you'll see this face on all that media. I'm posting, if not every day, every other day, about announcements of SICW, the Ace Wrestling Academy, the TV show, and everything. So yes, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is where you can find me.
Awesome. Any parting thoughts or even questions from you, Z, for our future guest tonight?
I've kind of made this a routine question, actually, since I'm newer and coming into the industry, and I'm not wanting to become a wrestler. I want to be a voice, a commentator or a manager somewhat down the line. But for us younger guys coming into the business, what advice could you give us?
Mouth closed, ears open. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. That's not to say don't ask questions. No, not at all. That's how you learn. But too many guys come in and they think they already know it all when you don't know jack squat. So when you're starting down the business, know that you don't know nothing like you think you do.
I can agree with that 100%.
Yep, and just listen, and you'll go far. Yeah.
Man, absolutely.
Well, thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Yep. Awesome. So, I would just like to thank you once again for coming on, doing this. And, I had an idea to get you on here. And especially after what we experienced last week. I think, Z, floated off. I think he was having technical trouble. He might have just dropped off. But
it's okay.
Either way, man, I definitely still want to thank you for coming on. And it's definitely been fun. It's been real and definitely very enjoyable. And I hope you had an enjoyable time for doing this for us, man.
Fantastic. I like what you got going on here, dude. Keep it up.
Man, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I announced earlier, we're going to be going into audio podcast format where we're going to try to go on 8 different outlets. So you don't have to just watch us. You can listen to us on an audio podcast. So looking forward to that. So
yeah, my always told me I had a face for radio. So there you go.
There you go. Awesome. So for the Z-Miz, I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby. This has been episode number 54 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast with the one and only SICW Ambassador Sean Vincent. And we thank you very much, guys. Tune in to our Facebook page to see who our next week's guest will be. Until then, come out to the shows in East Carondelet this weekend. And don't be a stranger. We will see you next week. Thanks again for everybody tuning in to tonight's episode of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Don't forget our friends at the following: the Searcher and Hide podcast and Outside the Ring STL. The Falls Count Everywhere podcast is an LTX Enterprises production.